Hey everyone, Bob here, KD4BMG HOA Ham. For those of you who don't know anything about amateur radio, you're thinking to yourself, how on earth did I get onto this guy's channel? Well, all of us have things in our offices, our ham radio shacks, our YouTube studios, all over our home that require batteries, AA's, AAA's, AA's. I burn through batteries like nobody's business. So when EBL reached out to me and said, Bob, would you be interested in doing a review, taking a look at our battery charger that can do AA's and AAA's at the same time? I said, absolutely, I would. This is not going to be a technical review. I'm a very pragmatic person. This is going to be, does this make sense for you in your particular workspace? Do you need some batteries at your fingertips? I do. And so that's what I want to talk about today and show you how this works. I haven't taken that out of the box yet, so we're going to figure it out together. It's going to go over here in this space that's underneath my second monitor. I already have a desktop plug-in station there for USB, USB-C, as well as 110 outlets. We're going to go ahead and get this connected up, and we're going to charge up the batteries, and then we're going to see just how well those batteries stack up against, well, the copper tops. I'll spare you the unboxing because surely you can figure that part out all on your own. This comes with a tiny little instruction manual, the charging station, a USB-A to USB-C charging cable, and 2 packs of batteries for AAA's and for AA's. Let's get it set up in the corner and get charging. I'm a little intrigued by the design here because we're not supposed to be able to charge batteries unless we have contact on both the positive and negative ends. That is coming through very bright fluorescent green. The camera's not doing a great job of picking that up. And you put the battery positive end in and it turns red. So we're going to make an assumption that once it completes charging, everything turns green, and that's how we know our batteries are ready for use. So let me go ahead through the charge cycle here, and we'll be back in touch soon to talk about how these batteries work. As expected, the lights turn green once the batteries are charged. Each charging slot works independently. So if you put a partially depleted battery in, it will turn red and begin the charging cycle independent of the rest of the batteries that are in the charger. The AA's took about 2.5 hours and the AAA's about 1.5 hours. I'm using these Rovivon flashlights for the testing, and I want to say thanks to Rovivon for sending me the E7 and E5 Angel Eyes flashlight torch. What an incredible piece of gear. And as you see the results here in a couple of minutes, I was amazed at how long these batteries lasted. It had as much to do with the batteries as it did with these flashlights. They are incredibly efficient, and I'll have a full review coming on them shortly. The E5 Angel Eyes flashlight is a tiny torch meant for the pocketbook, to add to a keychain. The unique feature is it has an internal lithium battery that you charge, but it will accept an external battery, a AAA, and then you can select between the 2 batteries that you want to use. It's a backup battery, so to speak. And so I completely depleted the internal lithium battery on both of these flashlights, so they would both pull power from the AAA that we were going to put into it. One from the copper top and one from the EBL battery. So I get the EBL battery loaded up here, and we're going to begin the test shortly. We're going to turn on the 2 side LEDs and try to deplete these batteries as quickly as possible and time it, and then figure out what's the cost of use for these 2 batteries. So let's go ahead and get our test started. We're going to turn the 2 LEDs on the sides of both torches on and start the timer. Now, I thought I would be at this for just a couple of hours. The flashlights would deplete the batteries. I would do my calculations. I would give you my findings and make a recommendation. But this test went on and on and on, and then on some more. I did this testing over 3 days period of time because I don't leave things like this happen without my being close by at my workstation. So I turned it off and saved a number of times, and I will admit my biggest fear was that at one point when I turned off the video rolling and I saved it, I would forget to turn it back on when I put the test back in motion again. And would you believe it? That's exactly what happened. So for the EBL battery, I do have a span of about 1 hour where I know the power went out. I have the ending clip with it on, and then I have the starting clip with it off. And I also have the clock time, so I was able to calculate approximately how long it was running. So we're going to say 30 minutes into that time period. So I'll give you all the stats. They are close enough for what we're trying to do. And then we'll do the same thing on the Duracell. Typically, these types of Duracell batteries and any type of battery, an energizer, will work longer, or it will last longer than a rechargeable. That's not unusual. As long as it's not a significant period of time, that's not a problem. But over their lifespan, you get a single use out of this Duracell battery. You get many rechargeable uses out of the EBL and similar batteries. As a matter of fact, EBL says 1,200 charge cycles on this battery. So let me roll some of the video in here, and I'll show you where I kind of, lost my way on the video for the EBL, and I'll show you the Duracell conking out and my iPhone stopwatch conked out at the same time. And nonetheless, everything was able to be calculated so that we can come up with some good estimates, calculations, and recommendations. I like spreadsheets. They tell the truth. If there's a mistake, it's on you. You have control. Get your data right, fix your formula, and you're getting feedback to make informed decisions. This is the first time I've done an analysis like this, consuming the life of a battery and then making a recommendation off of my findings. So if you see anything that I could do a little differently, a little bit better, a different perspective, feel free to comment below. Basically, the copper top had 23.5 hours of runtime, or 1,410 minutes. The EBL 17 hours, or 1,020 minutes. The use for the copper top, it's single use. You get one use out of it. Therefore, the run minutes per battery is 1,410. The use, or the recharge cycles on the EBL, is stated at 1,200, which sounded high to me. I did some research, and competitive batteries, some are a little bit lower than that, and some are, quite frankly, much higher than that. So I would say it's a likely conservative estimate at this point. Now, it's assuming 100% efficiency. I've made a 100% efficiency assumption here. That's likely not correct, but directionally, the information is going to be worthwhile. So that's 1,410 run minutes per battery on the copper top, 1,224,000 on the EBL. Again, that's at 100% efficiency, so if it dropped down a little bit, there wouldn't be quite that large of a number, but still, it's a substantial variation from the copper top. Run hours per battery, 24 versus 20,400. Wow. Cost of the copper top is 80 cents each, and cost of the EBL, I estimated at $5, and I'll explain what I mean by estimate. I didn't take any sale prices from Amazon, just straight up what's the retail price, no sales included, and on average 80 cents on the copper top. And I took the cost of that EBL kit, because it is a kit. It's 4 AA's, 4 AA's, 4 AAA's, and the charger. I divided the cost of that kit by 8. So I'm actually applying a higher price to that AAA battery, in my opinion. You have a cost per minute and a cost per hour to consume the life of a single charge on these batteries. So this may not be an easy thing for you to interpret. Let's convert that over to an equivalent of batteries. For one EBL charged battery and 1,200 charges over at life, how many equivalent copper tops would you need? You would need an equivalent of 868 copper tops. Are you kidding me? Where is my math wrong? I'm giving it all to you. Go ahead and tell me if I made a glaring mistake here. I've triple checked this. So at 80 cents each, that's $695 versus $5 for one EBL battery. So to me, there's a compelling story here. My pragmatic way of looking at this, I think, kind of informs our decision on whether or not this is worthwhile. So let me tell you what I like about this EBL set and what I don't like, or what you need to consider before you would make a purchase. What do I like, and what do we need to consider before we make this investment? Well, what I really like about this is the fact that, you can be green or you can be frugal, whichever drives you. Here's a way to save the planet or save your wallet. Again, if my numbers are skewed, just help me out there understanding the math. Maybe it's not as substantive as I've pointed out, but it certainly seems compelling. So there's a way to save money and to save the planet at the same time. That appeals to a lot of people. What appeals to me also is the fact that I have a battery at my disposal anytime I need it. This will stay on my workstation, and when I need a battery, I don't have to go out into the pantry where we keep the spare copper tops and pull them out. It's going to be right here at my desktop. I like that these don't require a cradle that you have to lock them into place to charge. We're all familiar with that. These are very convenient just to pull in and out of the charging station. So I did mention to you that when you do put one back in that needs to be charged, it is going to turn orange. It looks a little bit more red here to my eyes. Camera's picking it up as orange. It will charge independently, and when it's done, it too will turn green. But now I have at my disposal 4 AA's, 4 AAA's. Whenever I have a battery go dead, now I have something that I can just grab, replace, and go. What do you need to consider before you go down this path? So first of all, it is an investment, right? There is an initial outlay to make this purchase. That's the first thing you need to consider. Over the long run, over weeks, months, years, this obviously seems like a good investment and a money saver, but there is an initial outlay. So before you go down this path, think about how many batteries are in your house that you would need to replace to convert over to something like this. In the long run, it's more than going to pay for itself, but can you afford that initial investment? The second thing to consider is that due to this design, not all rechargeables will work in this charging station. When have you seen a charging station like this that you didn't need to clip both the positive and negative into place to charge? This is a special design, so only these EBL batteries will work with this charger. Keep that in mind as you're making this decision. Keep in mind also that today EBL sells this only as a kit. I've made a recommendation to EBL that they start selling the AA's and AAA's independently, so you could buy a single kit and then multiple battery packages beyond that. If you do need to buy this as a kit or multiple kits, for me, I would only have one of these in my ham radio shack, my YouTube studio. Over time, I would replace all the batteries in my remotes throughout the house and other devices, and then this would stay here as a single charging station because not all your batteries die at the same time, and then I would come here, pull, and replace the other ones. Perhaps with as many batteries as I have, maybe an additional charging station isn't a bad idea after all. And I think probably the biggest risk is you would be an early adopter because, again, this is new technology. Can we call a AA and AAA battery new technology? Certainly the charging methodology is new technology. We don't see many people out here doing this, so you're kind of an early adopter. So hopefully EBL sticks with this because it's a great concept. I think it's definitely worth the investment. And oh, by the way, that Rovivon flashlight, can't wait to do a review on that for you. That's an incredible piece of gear. I like doing ham radio reviews, preparedness reviews, because I can go ham adjacent. And flashlights is one of those things that we always need in emergencies, along with charged batteries. So hopefully you found this useful. Hopefully you can make an informed decision. Talk to you soon, friend 73.